This is a how to draw using basic shapes video. So I'm starting out by the object is sitting in front of me so I can draw it from observation. And I'm going to draw it using big, simple overall shapes. So shapes like circles, ovals, rectangles, and triangles. This is similar to maybe a book that you might have had when you were younger on how to draw objects where they took you step by step and they showed you simple shapes and eventually you got to a more complicated shape. So it's that same concept, only you're the one making the decisions on what basic shapes you're going to start with. So you want to start with kind of the big overall shapes first and complete the whole object before you go into any detail. So get the whole thing in there. And then you can start working on maybe big shapes inside the object. So you're kind of working from big overall to smaller detail. Once you have kind of the overall shape in there, you can keep refining as you go. So for example, when I'm drawing this horse statue here, I've got the base too big at the beginning, but as I start to get some of the other big basic shapes in there, I notice that I need to kind of refine and alter the edge of that base there. So save the small details for the very end. You want to work kind of the big shapes first, and then kind of go down to the medium shapes, and then only at the very end will you refine any of the details. That allows you to quickly adjust and move things and resize shapes as you kind of go, as you realize, what should the correct form be. So I like to work lightly at first, so those first shapes that I draw, I sketch in very lightly, and then as I build up, I start getting darker. This technique works for multiple objects too. So for example, if I'm drawing a still life scene here, I'm going to draw this simple basic shape for each object before I go into any more detail. So each shape each object here, the apple, the mug, the spoon, gets represented with a very big simple shape first. And then I'll go in and I'll start adding some, refining a little bit on each object, but I'm still not adding detail. I'm still kind of editing and adjusting as I go. You can see I'm using a kneaded eraser here. So, I start lightly and I darken lines as I go, but you can always erase if you have to a little bit. This also works really well for text.